Hello? Did you come to play with me? Welcome, Z. Welcome, Sartika. If that's right. All right, we're going to officially start in 2 minutes here. Approximately. Man, oh man, oh man. Oh my goodness. So much good stuff to talk about. You guys enjoying this show? Like the regular weekly schedule? You keep coming back. And Z just donated money, so I guess she enjoys it. All right. Shall we dance? Okay. Three, two, one. It's happening. Cheers. Welcome to the program. Holding space for love to be seen. And I'm so joyfully unprepared. So much so. I mean, at this point in the program, a few seconds in, I start to remember all the things that I said I was going to do to prepare for this episode. Didn't do them. It seems to be pretty consistent that I seem to be unprepared, but maybe you don't know that, right? Maybe I should just keep that to myself and let you keep thinking that I'm prepared and that I know what I'm doing. But I find out that, as long as I just show up, then this show can keep rolling. And, in the end, it always seems to work out. This space that we call holding space for love to be seen. My name's Tiger. I share insight and wisdom that I see in my own direct experience. And I share that because it's beautiful. Whether it's relevant for you or not, I don't know that that's so relevant for me. You get to decide that. I'm here sharing what I find to be beautiful, having a self dialogue in some way, talking to myself, saying the things that I need to hear. I know it sounds like I'm talking to you, but I'm not. We are going to follow a bit of a format. Introduction happening now. 2 minutes of stillness. We're just going to hang out. I'm not going to say anything and allow myself to just relax, be here, settle in. It's my favorite part of the show because I get to just be collected and not have to rush. No demand. I can just be here and soak up the goodness of the space. Naturally, we are joined by people all around the world, watching live, commenting on the back end, donating money apparently, so that's cool. And after that stillness, I'm going to share on the topic today. And it's episode 40. Should we celebrate? Is that appropriate reason to celebrate? The big 4-0? I'll share some insight on the topic. What is it today? Be courageous so you can be free. That should be fun. And then we will do some Q&R, questions and reflections. Maybe, because the broadcast earlier today, I said the same thing, and that didn't happen because I ran my mouth for too long. And then after that, short and sweet guided meditation. Okay. What's next on the agenda? 2 minutes of stillness. Let's jump into that. That was a beautiful 2 minutes. Wow, I hope you had a chance to listen to the broadcast earlier today, which was called Imaginary Bullshit Holding You Back. It was a great long introduction to a topic called Be Courageous So You Can Be Free, which really is an opportunity to recognize the bullshit and act anyway. Right? Because what is the bullshit other than I'm scared? That simplifies it, doesn't it? I mean, if we investigate our excuses of why we don't play, why we don't explore, why we don't take risks. It's because we're scared. And so the beauty in this about being courageous, and I don't know, maybe I should say it. I'm just talking sporadically. I'm not planning any of this stuff, so could just be more bullshit. Just be advised. Be advised. Here's the deal. And I just got off a Zoom call, and we were seeing the unavoidable truth that life is a series of discovering the same lesson over and over and over again. And this is also one reason why you don't have to be afraid of anything in the future, is because all you do is encounter the same lesson. And if you're willing to have that lesson, because you see the benefit, you see that ultimately the lesson is expanding your awareness so you can see more of what's true. And as you see more of what's true, the natural byproduct is love, compassion, and freedom, which is the only thing you're looking for. Then you open up to that journey. You open up to whatever life might throw at you. Because the only thing you will experience in the future is your own limitation. Do you see this? The only thing you will encounter is your own resistance. Regardless of what happens, you encounter your own stories about what's happening. And I've had a couple experiences the past few days where some wanderer stumbles upon something that I share and wildly misinterprets what I'm saying and feels like they have to go off and give me a piece of their mind. And then they demand that I respond to their tirade. And there's just too much misunderstanding to even begin to respond. All I can say is I love you and I'm sorry about the misunderstanding. And naturally that's not good enough, so I get another long letter. But I say that because I understand the potential that I'm talking quickly. I'm spitting out some insights that drop real hot. And if you're not primed, if you're unfamiliar with the nature of what I'm talking about, or you haven't hung around my particular flavor of sharing, then yeah, these things can sound super insensitive. These things can sound insane, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do? But do you recognize this? Like everything that irritated you today, do you see the only thing that irritated you was you? Without any judgment for it, just to see the adorable insanity. Do you see in a way you can say that your neighbor irritated you, your boss irritated you, your partner irritated you, life irritated you? But what really happened? You didn't get what you wanted. And you attached your identity to what you wanted. And you threw a tantrum. But it's so easy to say that something out there irritated me. Something out there disturbed me emotionally. And yeah, I get it. It looks like that. But what's really happening? And again, I've used this example before, but it's so on point that if you're irritated with anything that I'm saying, Are you irritated with what I'm saying, or are you irritated with your interpretation? What you think it means? Right? So let's say that this moment is the future manifested. The irritation you encountered listening to me wasn't an irritation brought to you by life. You encountered your own self-irritation, right? You encountered yourself. And so if this moment was still in the future and then we go back to the past and then you fast forward back to now, this got real confusing. The only thing you encountered in the future was yourself. You encountered your own interpretation. You encountered your own limitation. You encountered your own lack of awareness about what's really happening. And that's awesome, because when you encounter your own limitation, it gives you the opportunity to see beyond that limitation. And what happens when you see beyond that limitation? You experience more freedom. Is this not every lesson? And you see, we're afraid of moving forward. We're afraid of stepping into the unknown because we think we're going to encounter something that we're separate from. We think we're going to encounter something out there. You're just going to encounter yourself. And my God, that makes perfect sense with the title. This is just fallen right together. Beautiful. Be courageous so you can be free. As you move through these lessons, as you see that you're afraid and you move through it, you encounter the limitation, then see beyond the limitation, and you see you don't have to be afraid of that anymore. Or if anything, you'll be less afraid. And then you'll encounter it again, and then you'll be less afraid again, and then again, and again, and again, and freedom expands. Because again, this is sort of illustrative of a greater freedom, is it not? Less and less fear. Because when there is less and less fear, it means I can be more present. And what freedom is there that's greater than the ability to just be? And let life be life. Let people be people. Let yourself be yourself. Which is so interesting too, because the world's idea of freedom, it doesn't resonate with me. Like for me, freedom, I mean, I get the concept, but like the idea that I get to do what I want to do when I want to do it, it seems not that exciting compared to a freedom that recognizes my internal state of wellness is not determined by anything that's going on in the world, right? Because maybe the reason it's so appealing to do what you want, when you want, where you want, is because then you can run away. You can go here, you can go there, you can run away from yourself. You can find all sorts of creative ways to distract yourself. And when you don't have that ability to run away, then you have to face yourself. Then maybe you don't feel like you're free. But maybe when you face yourself, then you finally become free. And this is the point in courage, and I teased this a little bit in the previous week about this upcoming episode, which is that the thing about courage is it's temporary. Like courage is necessary in the beginning. And I find that this is fascinating. When you move through what you're afraid of, what you ultimately see is that there's nothing to be afraid of. And when you fully see that there's nothing to be afraid of, then courage isn't necessary anymore. Courage is only necessary when there's fear. courage is important when there's fear. But when you see that there's nothing to fear, then no more courage. Which is kind of funny because I get messages all the time. People tell me I'm so courageous in doing what I do. And there's no courage about it at all, especially after doing it for over a decade. It's like it's not scary anymore to run my mouth and share what's on my heart. In the beginning, sure. In the beginning, I thought it was a big deal. I thought there was lots of things that could go wrong. I thought that maybe what people thought had something to do with me. There's all sorts of bullshit that I imagined to be in the way, things that I was afraid of. But it was important. It was, I need to sing my song or I'm going to die. I'm going to need to do what I'm here to do or I don't want to be alive. And so it was like life or death, even though I was afraid. It's like if I'm going to be me, then I've got to move through this fear. Because if I don't, I'm going to die. And so even though I was afraid, still got to do it. And then as you do it, you realize, oh, that's not nearly what I thought it was going to be. I just imagined a bunch of monsters. And you know what? While we're having fun, another playful example of this is cold showers. And for some reason, and I'm not recommending this, it's just a kick that I'm doing right now because it seems to be the buzz thing to take cold showers. So I'm giving it a shot just to see what happens. And I freaking love it. Except the 2 minutes before I actually do it. It's so amazing the playful courage involved of taking a cold shower. And maybe that's just a great exercise. Because there's about 3 seconds of the cold shower that I really do not like. And it scares me a little bit because of how much I don't like it. But then as I'm in it after the 3 seconds, maybe around 3.5, I get this sudden something that says, oh, and I feel so much more alive. And some days I skip it because it's too much. And it's not really too much. I just think it's too much because every time I do it, I'm so glad that I did it, which is so funny that I would even consider not doing it. And the 3 seconds of discomfort, I always exaggerate it. And so that's the thing is it's like I recognize what's actually happening. It's like, okay, there's this imaginary monster that says, I don't want to do this, but I actually know how good I feel when I do it. I actually know what it's like to be done and feel super awake at 4 o'clock in the morning and ready to go after a cold shower. But yet there's the hesitancy, there's the fear. And so it takes a little bit of courage to get in the cold shower. But guess what? It's so much easier than the first time I did it. Because the first time I did it, I didn't really do it. Right, where it's like you get in the cold water for like 1.5 seconds and you're like, okay, I'm done. I did it. But that doesn't really count. But that's where it started. You got to start somewhere. And even before that, I was so anti. This is interesting. Is this promotion for cold showers? Is that what my show has become? It's so interesting because I have lots of friends in the Nordic areas of life, Finland and Sweden and Denmark. And they're all super into, getting in the ocean in the middle of winter and all that kind of stuff. And for the past few years, it's like you all are fucking crazy. I mean, much love to you. Do what you do. But I was so anti cold anything, even cold showers. No, thank you. And I had this idea that it wasn't for me. I had this idea that it wouldn't be helpful because I don't like it, right? It's like, how could it be helpful if I don't like it? That doesn't make sense. But then to test the boundaries of what I thought I knew was to find out that not only did I end up liking it, but I found it to be helpful. And now I enjoy it. Isn't that weird? It's so interesting too, because it speaks to the imaginary bullshit about the things we say we don't like, about the things we say that we're not into, when maybe actually we're a little bit curious, but we don't want to explore the curiosity. And so we just say that it's not for us, when really there could be potential benefit there. I don't know. Maybe. It's all play. Be courageous so you can be free. That's such a great illustration. The cold shower. It's small. It's simple. It's manageable. And then this leads right into the bigger things. Like, you could have passions inside of you, things you want to do to support other people, things you want to do to live a more playful life. And you can say, oh, no, that's not for me. I'm super serious. I got to keep my shit together. Be super important. But yet, deep down, you're like, I kind of wish I could. I wish I could play. I wish I could engage life with enthusiasm and sense of amazement, awe, discovery. Nope. Come back to reality. Too much risk. Life is too serious. Really, I'm just scared. Just scared. I think it's helpful to admit that. Like, beyond the bullshit. This might be helpful. To look at the things that you've been telling yourself that you don't want to do. Is it really just because you're scared? Maybe. It might be fun to sit back and play in your imagination that if there wasn't any fear, not that that's possible, but if there wasn't any fear, how would you live? And the conclusion of whatever you imagine isn't the point. The point is to open yourself up to a deeper possibility of living, in contrast to a deep honesty that sees that you're not allowing yourself to live. Oh, man. And it also speaks to the courage to fail. And again, there only has to be courage because we're afraid of failing. And welcome to being human. Sure, there's this silly and insane idea of being afraid to fail. It's super insane because you're just learning. The insanity says that failure means something about you, right? You're not afraid of the actual failure. You're afraid of what you think it means, right? So you're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of encountering your secret resentment for yourself. Jeez. Right? Because if I fail, then all this shit that I've been burying about how much I don't like myself, it's just going to come up. And I'm going to have to see that because failure is a trigger for it. And so I'm going to avoid failure, which is to say I'm going to avoid learning so that I don't have to encounter that aspect of myself. And what is courage, other than seeing the truth of the situation, realizing that, holy shit, that's not true at all. Failure isn't a problem. I actually like it because I'm learning. And all of the self-judgment around failure, that's not true. Sure, I can see the conditioning that thinks it's true, but I see that it's not true. And yet I'm still a little bit scared because there's that conditioning. Sure. Okay, but what's really true? It doesn't mean what I think it's going to mean, and I really want to try. And failure's not a big deal. Okay, are you still scared? Yeah. Trust what's true. Move anyway. That's called courage. And then as you move, you get to meet the fear. That's when the fear disappears. As human beings, we're so adorable. We're sitting around trying to spiritualize all this stuff, hoping that the fear goes away, then we get to move. No, that's not how it works. You spiritualize it so that you can just see the truth of what's happening. It doesn't mean the fear goes away. Sure, it might help a little bit, but there's still going to be fear there. You're still going to have to walk through the fire of fear. You're still going to have to discover a little bit of courage. That's how it integrates. If it was easy, there'd be no integration. If it was easy, there'd be no lesson. If it didn't require a little bit of faith, there'd be no point. To trust what is true and to move in truth, even though you're afraid, is how you integrate the truth. You don't get a free pass on integrating the truth by being a prisoner to your fear. Because the truth is over here, you see it clearly. Holy shit, that's amazing. And then here you are in your fear, and you're like, okay, it's there, but if I'm going to go there, I have to walk through this fear. I have to trust what's true and walk through the fear, knowing that the fear can't really burn me. I know it looks like it can, but it's imaginary. And I'm going to walk through it. That's how you embody the truth. You have to see it for yourself. What if it doesn't work out? It's not going to work out. 100%. It is not going to go how you think it's going to go. That's not the point. The point is to trust what's true. It's only fear that asks that question. What if it doesn't work out? Because fear is afraid of losing everything that you're holding on to, which says you think what you're holding on to is more important than what's true. And so you don't really want what's true. You want what you're holding on to, which is why you won't walk through the fire. Jeez. You feel me? And we all get to play this game. Every human being. You're only encountering your innocent misunderstanding, which is that there's something to be afraid of, so that you can move through that fear, which is to clarify the misunderstanding. See, there's nothing to be afraid of. And then as you see it for yourself, directly walking through the fire, now you know. Sure, you can have all sorts of beautiful ideas that there's nothing to be afraid of. But if you're not walking through fear, then you really don't know that. It's just an idea. And we get to playfully explore this in so many beautiful ways in our humanness. whether it's building a business, whether it's talking to a girl or a guy, or standing up for yourself. There's so many ways this gets to be expressed, which is why fear is such a powerful pointer. Do you realize this? What you're afraid of is also pointing towards what you want. You wouldn't be afraid of it if it wasn't asking for your attention. Fear is the pointer. So often people tell me, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, you probably do know what to do. You're just terrified. And you're looking for a solution that doesn't involve walking through what you're afraid of. You know exactly what to do. Even if what to do is to ask for help, which some people just seem really afraid of as well. Because it means I'm not smart. Does it really mean that? It means I'm weak. Does it really mean that? Nope. So beautiful. What an exploration. To connect with a deeper sense of freedom not only is beautiful for you, but it's beautiful for everyone around you. Because, oh my good, and let's look at this gently, please, folks. When you live in a state of fear, look at how much you try and capture other people. Look at how much you don't want people to be people, even the people you say that you love. Right? Because you're so afraid, you're holding on to them in a way that says, don't be you. It's too scary for me. Rather than being courageous and saying, you know what? Be you. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm terrified. I'm super insecure. But that's my issue. And I see that I want to put you in a prison because I'm scared, but it's not true. Let me deal with my issue and you be you. And as you be you, I'll encounter my own resistance, my own confusion. So thank you for being you. Rather than all this manipulative bullshit that tries to control people so that we can avoid what we're afraid of. My God. Come on now. Be courageous so you can be free. And in business, this is so important too. And it's on top of my mind because it's also what I spend a lot of time talking to people about. Again, so often, in the most adorable way. Understand, adorable, okay? It's super sweet. In the most adorable way, it's very obvious what needs to be done. Like as it relates to running a business. But we are so terrified of doing those things. Whether it's afraid of being rejected, afraid of bugging people, afraid of this, that, and the other, which is just more imaginary bullshit. And so we spend so much time trying to find a secret. We spend so much time trying to get around it rather than just head on being honest with yourself that says, this is what needs to get done. And I'm clearly terrified, but this is what's important. So I'm going to fail at this. I'm going to be super bad at it in the beginning, but I'm going to keep doing it and I'm going to learn. And after I do it 100 times, I'm going to get better. It's just like sales. It's just like sales. You're terrible at sales, but when you fail at sales 100 times, you get better. And as you get better, you see that I don't need to be afraid of sales. Just as an example. Right? And so many of you have passions and enthusiasm and interests and all of these things that involve connecting with other human beings. Shining your light involves shining your light on other human beings. And if you're afraid of what other human beings think about you, you won't shine your light, which means you don't get to experience your light. And so if you're really going to experience the light of what you are, you're going to have to shine it on other people, which is also to let go of people, to let them respond however they respond. Let them think your light is dumb. Let them think your light is stupid. Let them think you're an idiot for even trying. Let them see how terrible you are in the beginning while you're learning. Give them back to them. And you have your journey. My goodness. And furthermore, because we're not allowing ourselves to be courageous, we push away opportunity. Because again, look at this. Which example do we want to use? Let's take the business example. If you don't have courage, if you don't see that you're afraid and make a conscious decision to walk through that fear, then you divorce yourself from the opportunity right on the other side of that fear. It's opportunity that you can't see right now. But it's opportunity that's only available when you learn a little bit more. A little bit more. Who knows where it's going to come from? Who knows where it's going to go? But it's only available as you grow. And I just imagine so many people have these desires, have these passions, and they're waiting for the full picture, right? They're saying, put it this way. It's like, I need $100,000 to do what I'm going to do. So I'm going to wait till I have the 100,000. No, go find 5,000. Start there. And then once you get the 5, go find another 2. And then from that, you'll find out where there's another 15. You see what I mean? It's like people are so afraid of getting rejected that they won't even go looking for the 5. They want the whole thing now so that they can avoid running into their limitation. It doesn't work that way. Because as you go through that little journey, you learn so much about yourself, about business, about communicating, that plays its part in the fulfillment of the vision. And you're going to fail the whole way there, right? In order to get that $5,000, you're going to fail 10 times. In order to get the $100,000, you're going to fail 1,000 times. But the person that gets it is the person that's willing to fail 1,000 times. It seems simple on the surface, doesn't it? And then what do we come back to? Okay, I hear you, but I'm scared. Good. Good. You're supposed to be scared. You're approaching the outside of your comfort zone, which is where you grow. Again, what if it doesn't work out? It won't. It won't. It'll be something else. That's part of the fun. It's the mystery. Let's see what life wants to do. And I think that this is important. I think that this is fun. I think that this is worthwhile. So let's move in this direction. We'll grow. We'll learn. And then we'll share what we learn with others. And then maybe what you share with others will inspire a courage in them to take action, to move beyond the bullshit. And maybe not. Doesn't matter. You're still enjoying yourself. Ta-da! All right, fam. I've sufficiently ran my mouth about this topic. It feels complete. And I'm leaving some time for some Q&R, questions and reflections, if there are any. We can sit here for a minute and see what pops up. Faina says her favorite quote from Joseph Campbell: the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So true. And let me add to that. Your ego cannot enter that cave. There's another version of that says, the treasure you seek is in there, but no man can enter. Something like that. You have to leave your character behind. This is so much more important than who you think you are. And it's who you think you are that's afraid. It's afraid of losing who you think you are. And so you have to let go of who you think you are in order to connect with the treasure, which is the lesson, the growth. Question: what if you are not at all aware of the fear? Then just wait a minute. But to clarify, if you're emotionally disturbed at all, then there's fear. At all. There can only be emotional disturbance if there's fear. Emotional disturbance is the alarm that says there's fear, which is good news. And then often, maybe it's the case, maybe it's not, but this reminds me of a conversation I had recently. Somebody was trying to convince me that they weren't afraid, and it was so obvious to me that they were terrified. But they really didn't want to admit that they were terrified. And then after about 10 minutes of just holding space, and they got more and more upset, they realized, holy shit, I'm terrified. Yeah. The most absurd fear that we can have is fear about fear. Being afraid of being afraid, because then we get afraid of being afraid of being afraid, and on it goes. It compounds. I really invite you to see the playful nature in being afraid. It's totally okay to be afraid. We're all afraid. It's part of the learning. Welcome to being human. Again, we think being afraid means something about you. It doesn't. And because you want to avoid that meaning, you avoid admitting that you're afraid, which says you can't experience the lesson on the other side because you're not willing to look at the fear. Thank God for being emotionally disturbed in any way. Because if there's emotional disturbance, you're afraid. And that fear is simply asking for the truth of things to be seen. So if there's emotional disturbance, what am I not seeing? What do I think I'm seeing that's not really there? What am I imagining? What am I turning this into? It's an invitation to come back to the present moment and check in with reality. Awesome. I think this is a follow up to the fear question because I can't see the name of the person leaving this comment. But I truly want what's in the cave. And this would be great if it was a follow up. What if you are not aware of the fear, but I truly want what's in the cave? If there was no fear, you would have what's in the cave. And so, if you want what's in the cave and you think there isn't fear, then you're not entirely being honest with yourself. Because it's like, okay, if you want what's in the cave, then just go get it. Well, I can't. Why not? Because I'm afraid. It's another way of saying just let go. What's in the cave is letting go and being free. What's in the cave is just a beautiful love and embrace of the totality of life and being human. That's the treasure, the embrace. And if you don't have that as a felt sense in your core, then it's because there's fear. Playfully. And it's perfectly fine. Okay. Oh, it's almost my bedtime. You guys want to do a guided meditation? Could be time for that. All right. Let's see. Do we have a name for this meditation? What should it be called? Be courageous, I guess. Find the real prize. Okay, let's go. Welcome to this moment. We're going to hang out here for just a little bit. Allow ourselves to be present. Allow ourselves to come back to reality. This can be the most simple thing. Just be. Let's follow our breath back to reality, back to this moment. Just breathe. This meditation is going to invite you to connect with courage. Courage for what? Well, most notably, the courage to be you. This also includes the courage to be sincere, the courage to be honest, and the courage to do what's important. Are you open to that? Well then, let's breathe into the openness to be courageous. Breathe into your own openness to be courageous. Naturally, the only thing that stands between you and the truth of what you are is a fear that imagines something to be afraid of. And this fear tries so hard to protect yourself from what other people think about you, protect yourself from what may or may not happen tomorrow. However, you also recognize just how important it is for you to be you, for the truth of what you are to be the truth of what you are. Sure, someone might not like it. Sure, might not get what you think you want tomorrow. Sure, things might not go how you think they're going to go. But welcome to life. Can we just give other people back to other people? Can we give life back to life? And finally come home to ourselves? Finally allow ourselves to breathe? How long have we denied this breath? How long have we denied the sincerity of our own hearts? Are we going to keep making excuses? You're allowed to. There's no judgment. But how's that going? Maybe it's just time. Maybe it's just time to walk through the fire so you see that the fire cannot burn you. I know it's scary. It certainly can be. But trust in what's true. Trust in what's real. Trust in what's sincere. And then let's just see what happens. Thank you for meditating with me today. Right on. Right on, right on, right on. All right, my friends. I think that's it. I got to run. Appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much for the donations that I saw coming in. Christine, awesome. Everyone else, awesome. Z, Kathy. One show next week. I think we might be changing to just one show per week. No more 2 on Tuesday. Just one. Let's see how that goes. I got some busy days coming up. Should still be awesome. Join the community. It's free. Get plugged in. And we'll be in touch. Cheers. Bye. Oh, I guess I should say, maybe. I've got 2 spots left at the retreat in March. And I think they're going to go quickly. Actually, let me just double check because, I'm using my phone as the camera. Because somebody had sent me a message about one of those spots. And they might have messaged me back and said they want it. March 24th. More love, compassion, and freedom. Come play in Portugal, right on the beach. I rented a huge house. And we're just going to hang out like a bunch of friends. We're going to dive into the miracle of life and being human. And realize that this is all play, man. This is all play. So, I got 2 spots. Get in touch with me. Go to my website. And come join. Bye.